This is Gadget Stop 321. In today's video, I'm going to be taking a look at the Sailor Pro Gear Slim. Now, this pen has been on my radar for quite a while. It's a size and shape of a couple of my favorite fountain pens. The Pilot Prera is a similarly sized and styled pen, as well as the TWSBI Diamond Mini. They're all in that same size range, almost pocket pen size. In fact, you maybe could. These aren't fragile pens. I wouldn't carry it in a pocket that has keys or change in it, but you could probably carry this in a pants pocket pretty safely. Now, the Pro Gear Slim is the more premium model of this style of pen. The Pro Gear line has 14 karat gold nibs, and it's not a snap cap, it's a threaded cap. It's got a number 5 size nib, which all of these have similarly sized nibs. Like I said, 14 karat number 5 nib. These two have steel nibs. So this is, if you're looking for a little more premium version of this style of pen, you may want to take a look at the Pro Gear. Another pen that's similar to this, but now that I think about it, it's been discontinued. You can still kind of find them around, is the Pilot, and the name escapes me. I'll think of it in a minute. It's along this Pilot. Cannot think of it. Well, anyway, now the Pilot Prera is about 1/3 of the price of this pen. So if you're wanting something along this same style, but a little more affordable, the Prera is a nice option. Now, in the United States, the Prera is only available in these demonstrator style, You can get it in different colors, different nib sizes. It's a snap cap. In fact, it's well known for having a very satisfying snap cap. It's got a nice, like a soft click to post, and it's a cartridge converter, but it's got a steel nib. Now, still it's a little bit more expensive. It's about twice as expensive as the Prera. The TWSBI Diamond Mini has a threaded cap. It also threads to post, but it has a steel nib also. All three of these are wonderful writers. Very comfortable, very nice size pens. The only gripe I have with any of these pens is the aluminum section on the TWSBI. To me, is just very slippery. Now, it doesn't want to slide up and down because you've got like this little lip here, but it wants to rotate on me when I'm using it. So my favorite use for this pen is grading papers. For lengthy writing sessions, my hand gets kind of tired because I'm kind of gripping it so hard to keep, and trying to keep it from spinning around or repositioning it when it has spun around. But this video is about the Sailor Pro Gear Slim. I'm going to move these out of the way. Now, this is the Slim model. You can get this same style of pen in just the Sailor Pro Gear, which is a little bit longer and a little bit wider, but I love this style of pen. It's just the perfect size for me. Now, this has a threaded cap. It takes 1.5 rotations to uncap it. I think this one took 1.5. Let's check that again. 1 3/4, okay? But it is push to post, so it's just held on there by friction, and it's on there pretty tightly, pretty securely. The section is a nice size. Now on this model, the section's a different color. I don't mind that. Some people, you know, prefer the entire pen to be the same color, but you know, that's just a personal preference. And the good thing about these Sailor Pro Gears is they come in a variety of colors. There are demonstrator models, there are opaque models like this, so you have some options. And they come in a variety of prices also. Some of the other colors are limited editions or limited availability, so that will impact the price as well. Now, this is a lightweight pen. It's well balanced. It just fits here perfectly in my hand. It's a little on the expensive side because it is injection molded. Now, there's no place that you see any marks on the pen except on the section. On each side of the section, let me see if I can get this to show up. I haven't been paying attention to my viewfinder. Right here, you might be able to see it. See that little seam there? When I turn it, you can see this seam shining, and then there's one on the other side. Now, it's very faint. You can feel it. In fact, one side you can't hardly even feel it. This side I can feel it. But, you know, when you're holding it to write, at least for me, it's not noticeable. Now, this is a pretty small pen. For me, it's usable, but it's not as comfortable. I prefer to use it posted, and it's just the right size. I love the look of these pens. Some of the things that I like about them, I just like the style of this clip. It's simple, but not too plain. It's got the little ridges around it. You can tell a Pro Gear when you see it. I like the cap bands. I like this skinny band with the wider band. Let's see if you can see what it says. Now, Sailor was founded in 1911. It says Sailor, Japan, founded 1911. Now, there's a 1911 model that is similar to this. It's a similar style. It just has rounded ends. This is a cartridge converter pen. Sailor uses their own proprietary cartridges and converters. Let's see. I've heard people griping about the Sailor converters. I haven't been using this very long, so I don't have any gripes as of yet. You can't eyedropper it. It's got metal insides. As far as this model goes, I prefer the opaque. You know, there are some pens that I like in the demonstrator version, and there are some pens that I like in the opaque version, and there are some pens that I don't care one way or the other. These two pens, I like the demonstrator. They're just cool looking pens. You can get a Prera in an opaque. There's an opaque model. You have to get it from Japan. It's only available in Japan, but I just don't think it looks as good. And the TWSBI, I mean, why would you want this? It's not available in an opaque model, but TWSBI does make some opaque pens. But I like their demonstrator pens better. They're cool pens. Let's take a look at how this writes. I got it in a fine, and I love how the Sailor, the Pilot, the Platinum pens. I love those pens in a fine nib. Let's see. I'm going to be writing in my Hobonichi Techo. I love the Weeks. I love how thin it is. I like this size for journaling. Originally this year, I got this one to be kind of like a health journal. Man, that got boring fast. So I started using it just as for testing pens on Tomoe River paper. But my favorite use for these little A6 Hobonichis is they're the perfect size for journaling. So I'm gonna use today's page to do a little pen test. And I'll zoom in a little bit. This nib, for how fine it is very smooth. Pro Gear Slim has a fine 14 karat number 5. I'm gonna run out of room. And the nibs on these are made by Sailor. Sailor makes their own nibs. So it's not like you can, I wouldn't want to try it. I don't think you can exchange a Sailor number 5, swap it out with a Pilot number 5. I've never heard of anybody trying that. I don't know why you would want to. But this is a very smooth nib. Let's see. I'm using Iroshizuku. Asa Gal. It's kind of a royal blue. I love this color blue. Let's see. This is smooth, but it's also rigid. There's not the bounciness to this nib that you have with like the Pilot Custom 74, but I don't mind. I just use my pens for note-taking. I don't try to flex the nib. I'm not concerned about line variation. In fact, I prefer to not have any line variation. I like a nice uniform line. This is just a well-tuned nib. I've not had any trouble with it skipping. It's a little bit dry, but like I said, I've not had any trouble with it skipping, so it is well tuned. It's a very comfortable pen. I can see myself, if I have a bunch of notes to take, or for journaling, writing a lengthy passage, I can see myself reaching for this pen. Now, the price range here in the United States for these Pro Gear Slims is around $150. And if you get one of the more limited available ones, a limited edition, it's even more than that. That's something you really have to think about, if that is worth it to you, when you can get something like a Pilot Prera for a fraction of that, a third of that. The only thing is, it's just not the Pilot Prera is more utilitarian. The nib is just, it's not as pretty of a pen overall. It's a pen for just work. See, the Pilot Prera is just a plain steel nib. That Sailor pen nib is really pretty. But my husband has asked me before, what does this pen do that your other pens don't do? And my response to him is, my pens are like my accessories. I don't wear a lot of jewelry, things like that. My pens are my hobby, and they are like an accessory to me. So that's something to think about when you are investing in a pen. Is this going to be your one single pen, or are you someone who likes to accumulate different styles of pens? But this is a good one. I'm a big fan of the Sailor Pro Gear Slim. If you found this video helpful, please give me a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more videos like this, please subscribe to my channel.